You've tuned into Unpause Your Life with Dr. Callie Estes. Your access to success strategies and more to help you move onward and upward with your life. Listen in each week as she interviews others who have really taken their essence to the next level and truly unpaused their life. Now here's your host, Dr. Callie Estes.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. This is Dr. Callie Estes, and I am founder of the Addictions Academy, the Addictions Coach, and Rehab Rescue. Welcome to Unpause Your Life. This is a great podcast where we showcase people who have done something extraordinary with their life. I welcome you, and I hope you enjoy all of our guests.
On my way, found a reason to wake up another day.
Before we get started, let's hear this short message from one of my supporters.
All the things that you won't do.
Did you know 81% of Americans would like to become a published author? Chances are you might be one of them. What's stopping you? Writing and publishing a book takes a lot of work and is expensive, right? Well, not anymore. For your next book project, or even your first, team up with Hassle-Free Books. They make it so easy to become an author. They remove all of the fuss and struggle and make it smooth and simple. And it's far more affordable than you could ever imagine. Go to hasslefreebooks.com and use promo code UNPAUSE to receive a 10% discount off of any book project. Get started right away and become a published author in as little as 45 days. For your free 1-hour book formula guide, which will show you just how painless it can be to become an author, head to hasslefreebooks.com today.
All right. Thanks again for joining me. Let's get started with today's show.
Took a walk down the dark road where they said that I shouldn't go. I knew the dangers of life.
Welcome to Unpause Your Life with Dr. Callie Estes, the Addictions Coach and the Addictions Academy. My next guest is Katie Donovan Brennan, and I want to tell you all about her. She has spent over the last 20 years in marketing, events, and communications industry. After experiencing the addiction journey with her daughter, Brittany, Katie left her marketing career in order to focus on family recovery. She has now dedicated her life to guiding others through the overwhelming process of finding quality treatment for substance abuse, and she's coaching families through their own recovery, and she's also a consultant in the treatment industry. Katie and her daughter Brittany also co-founded a blog where they dig deep about their journey, and you can find that at amothersaddictionjourney.com, which reached over 1 million views within 30 days of its inception, and it's been syndicated in over 30 publications, including USA Today and Scary Mommy. Welcome, Katie Donovan.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Callie. It's an honor to be here.
Awesome. Well, how are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. It's been an invigorating morning. I was invited to testify at our state capitol on a bill that is looking to be passed, and I'd never had this experience before. I thought I would be a little intimidated, but shockingly, I think the passion came out, and I just spoke from the heart to push this bill being passed. So it's just a great experience. So far, so good. Great day.
Awesome. Fantastic. You got to love those events where you're in heels and a dress and you're uncomfortable and you're pushing things down and pushing things up and you put the smile on and you're on for 20 minutes and then you're like, I can't wait to get home and take it all off, right?
Right, exactly. Take the heels off, put on the tank top, be comfortable in my own comfort skin, which is not heels.
It's so funny because we do this work as women. Like, you know, the men that do this type of work, you see them in a t-shirt and jeans and comfortable shoes, and that's okay. You know,
right.
When we do this work, we're expected to be in a dress with our hair done and our makeup done and heels. It's so crazy. It's like a double standard.
It's so true. It's so true. But this is great. What you're doing here to spread the message and educate and the awareness, I just give you so much credit. This is what is needed. And to have a platform like this that people can truly access at any time at their own convenience is incredible. This is what is needed, Callie.
Well, this is the goal. And I know you deal with the hard part, what I call the hard part of addiction. I'll take the addict any day. You have the moms. Tell me what it's like working with some of these crazy moms.
Well, I can identify with them because I probably still am that crazy mom. Because I've been there and I can connect with them. And I know their crazy level is out of fear. Their crazy level is out of passion. And they are lost. They don't know what to do. And as parents, it's so hard to see your loved one slip away. And everything that we do for them usually doesn't work. It usually backfires in our face. And it took me personally a very long time to find that. It comes unnatural. It's for us as parents. As our children grow, when they're born, we feed them, we change them, we teach them how to ride their bike. All of these things, we're natural caregivers. And when our children are sick, we take them to the doctor. We give them, Tylenol or whatever is needed at that time. When it comes to addiction, it's hard because that person struggling, their brain is not working properly. And when they say, Mom, I swear to God, I did not do that. I did not steal that. I swear on my life, right? We want to believe them because they're our babies. They're our kids. But 9 times out of 10, or 99.9% of the time, right?
Yeah.
It's not true. It's not true. Or, oh my gosh, Mom, I was walking down the street. This guy came up, totally robbed me. He took my phone. He took about the $40 that I had on me. I'm starving. I don't have any gas in my car. And we'll give him $40 because we're scared. We're scared of many things. We're scared because we don't want them to be walking and stranded. We're scared because to feel like our children could be starving is the worst thing we ever want to have our children feel, right? We're scared because we don't want to know the truth. And if we say no, then they're going to get mad. They're going to stomp their feet like 2-year-olds and it's going to blow up in our face. And oh God, if we say no, are we going to scar them emotionally? Are they never going to speak to us again? That is those feelings. So I understand how it drives moms and dads crazy because we don't know how to handle it. I've learned along the way and it's not always right. There is no right answer, but there is a best case guess and best case route that you should go when it comes to addiction. And that's what I try and guide families to go on that best route. It may not work, but why not go with your best chances?
And that makes sense. And you're a certified family recovery coach, and you also teach others how to become family coaches, which is a much needed resource because most of us, like me, works with the addict. I understand the addict's brain. I get it. I know what you're going through. I can identify and I can help get you sober. You're coming from life experience of the mom, which is invaluable.
Thank you. Yeah, this has been my passion because when my daughter was going through different treatment centers, there really wasn't a lot of focus on the family. We were left with our hands in the air and told, go to an Al-Anon meeting. I mean, yes, it's a good place to go. It's a start. It's just one small tool. There were hardly any family sessions. You might get a phone call with the therapist, and that's only if your child puts you on the release of information. It was very, very restrictive. And I did go to Al-Anon meetings. And to be honest with you, personally, I needed more. I wanted solutions. I didn't want to be in a room of crying moms anymore. I've been crying for years and I needed answers. I needed solutions. I wanted to make change. I was tired of this life, and this life meaning how I was being affected, and I didn't know how I could create change in order to have my loved one create change. And once I became a family coach and I can really dig in to the families, taking the focus off of the addict and onto themselves, I see true healing begin. I firmly believe with all of my heart, every single treatment center, IOP, even sober livings, to be honest with you, should have a family coach. Say Johnny goes to treatment and mom and dad are, yay, thank God Johnny is in treatment. But now they've been so focused on Johnny, codependent on Johnny, stalking Johnny's Facebook, stalking Johnny's cell phone. Where is he at? And now he's in treatment and they don't have access to Johnny. They identified themselves with Johnny. They don't know how to handle life now. So now what do? They're sending Johnny 57 care packages a week. They're calling the treatment center every day. What did he eat? His carrots today? How did he wake up? Did he do his yoga? I mean, it's ridiculous. Right? And it comes from a place of fear. And we also try to control everything, which is another fear-based mechanism. We have to back away.
You said that right. So Johnny's addicted to heroin and mom's addicted to Johnny.
Totally.
And what happens is when Johnny turns 18, mom should be able to have her own identity. And that doesn't happen. So Johnny's doing drugs. So mom is still mom. This prolongs that period where the mother's needed and codependent on the child and rushing in to save Johnny, who's now 30, like they did when he was 5 and he fell down the steps. And they
Correct.
just keep repeating this. And it's a cycle. And you're right. There's no resources. Where does an addicted mom who's addicted to their child go?
Right. And again, the go-to thing that people will say is, well, you need to go to a meeting. Go to a meeting. You don't even get to talk to anybody. You can't even talk at an Al-Anon meeting. I would try and talk, and my first one, I was shut down, and I felt so shamed because I didn't know the rules. And this isn't what I came for. I came to talk with someone. Finally, personally, I felt I finally got the courage to walk in. I sat in my car for 20 minutes, crying my eyes out. I probably smoked a cigarette and walked in. And then you can't talk. There's no crosstalk. It was very uncomfortable for me. But again, I do believe in the 12 steps. I think anyone in their life, whether you're been affected by this disease or not, should probably follow the 12 steps, because I do feel that is a really good process. But that's just my own opinion. But I do think that having someone that can have direct guidance, one-on-one coaching with you, a therapist can only do so much. A therapist, unless they are trained and have personally experienced addiction, I truly don't think anyone can be completely qualified to guide families unless you have been through it, because you don't learn this stuff in the books. You just don't.
Well, yeah. And the interesting thing is, when I went to school for psychology, it wasn't about addiction either back in the day. It was psychology. It was mental health, which I wasn't really interested in. I wasn't interested in, unless it was serial killers, which I was interested in those, but I wasn't really interested in borderline and bipolar and schizophrenia. But I studied that. And then I had to get a minor in addiction studies to understand addiction. And then, as we progress, there was never a family class. Where do you learn how to deal with the family? And then you get a job at a treatment center, and God forbid there's no training there. It's here's your clientele, here's your computer, you have group in an hour. Goodbye.
Right.
And there's no room for the family. And the family is considered annoying when you're a therapist because they call. And they have 101 questions, and it's the same questions. Then the client, their daughter calls, her son goes, well, there's no hot water here, Mom, and there's no therapy, and there's really no counselors, and they don't feed us, and I can't get my meds, and they have bed bugs, and I hate my roommate, and they have all these issues, and Mom goes, oh my God, it's a horrible, horrible place. My poor child is, starving, and meanwhile, they're sitting out back playing dice, smoking a cigarette, and it's just ridiculous. So having a family coach that can say to the loved one, listen, this is what's going to happen when your daughter goes in there. She's going to call you, and she's going to tell you there's no running water. There's no counselors. There's no medication. There's no roof on the building. I love hearing all the stories. And
the cockroaches, that's a big one.
Cockroaches, and they do nothing with us, and we just sit around and play cards all day and watch TV and, whatever. And it's so nice to have someone like yourself to work with the family on what they need to do and how they handle that, and then what to do when the client comes out. Because the family has the misnomer now that Becky, who's in treatment, comes out cured. And now Becky and I can go out and have girls' day. We can go to a day spa and have a glass of wine.
Right. Yeah. So prime example. I'm so glad you brought that up. There's a current family that I'm working with. Their son is in treatment. Just prior to him going to treatment, though, the family was taking turns staying at his house so he wouldn't overdose. And the dad was exhausted. It's causing problems in his relationship. Grandma is also going there. Grandma is 83 years old. She doesn't know what to do. She's basically sitting on his couch and checking his breathing just to make sure he's breathing. They are with him 24/7. But then when he would say, I'm feeling really sick, I have to go use, they would take him to the corner, turn a blind eye because they felt bad that he was sick, and then take him back home again. And they did this until I intervened and said, this has got to stop right now. We got him into treatment. I saw them last night. The young kid is getting out in just a few days. They said, okay, well, we've got everything set up. He didn't put us on the release, but we've got everything set up for him. Grandma's going to stay at his house. Grandma's going to drive him to him from work. I'm going to go on my lunch break, and I'm going to turn his phone on. And I mean, they're listing this laundry list, and I interrupted them. I said, stop. Why are you taking care of all of this? I know why you're trying to, because you're scared of him not being able to do it on his own, but you're not giving him a chance. You've got to put some faith in him. Whether he succeeds or doesn't, that's not on you. That's on him. We can surround him with tools and resources, but there's Uber. If he doesn't have a car, he can Uber to work. Mom and grandma and dad should not be revolving their daily schedules around his work schedule to drive him to and from. His cell phone, if he has a cell phone, it works on Wi-Fi. He can call 911. There's no reason to turn that on until he can pay for it himself. There's absolutely no reason. And I said, I know what I'm saying here. You're probably hating me. You're probably thinking, doesn't this mom get it? Doesn't she care?
I was just going to say, you're a horrible mom, Katie. Horrible.
I'm a horrible mom.
Oh, my God.
Right.
How could you do that to their son?
And they were bug-eyed. And I said, I know what I'm saying is hard to understand and it's hard to hear. And believe me, I did all of those things, maybe not to the extreme, as far as sleeping with her every night to make sure she didn't die. I just didn't allow it in my home, period. But this is going to continue if you keep following this route. There's no matter what, he's going to relapse. You're not even giving him a chance to succeed on his own. He's got to be accountable. Stop working harder in his recovery than he is. And the dad said, well, I'm going to call his work and make sure that they're going to do this. Make sure. I said, no, that's him. That's on him. He's 28 years old. I get it. And sometimes what I say is difficult to hear, but I'm not here be trying to make you happy and blow sunshine up areas. I'm here because your child is my child. And that's my focus. Everyone has to be responsible for their own actions and their own recovery, as well as mom and dad.
So what do you do when the mom says, yes, but Katie, he's going to die. If I don't drive him to work and I don't pay for his cell phone and I don't do these things, he's going to die.
I tell her, you're going to die by doing it. Either physically, emotionally, mentally, you are withering away. When was the last time you did something for you that didn't involve wrapping it around your son? Something for you, whether you got your nails done, dinner with girlfriends, and you shut your cell phone off. When was the last time? And they sit in silence, and then 9 times out of 10, they start to cry. Because no one's asked, how are they doing? It's always about the person that is struggling, the focus. And you don't know what's going to happen. There is no guarantee. But I can guarantee that if you do continue in these behaviors, he's not going to get well, and you're just going to get sicker. And for myself, I had my own breakdown, rock bottom per se, and I was driving in my car and I was sobbing my eyes out. And I just remember my husband had asked me to do one simple thing. He had called me. It could have been taking out the garbage. It was so little that I don't remember what it was, but it was nothing. And I flipped. I went crazy. And I was like, oh my God, stop. I'm pulled in so many directions. I can't take this anymore. Everyone just leave me alone. And I jumped in my car and I'm driving and I'm crying and I'm like screaming, but screaming to yourself. And I wanted to just make all the pain go away. I knew I was just a mess. I was a mess. And finally, my husband said to me, Katie, if something ever happened to you, I don't think Brittany could survive. And he didn't mean physically. He meant emotionally, mentally, and life. Because I did everything for her. And he was right. And I realized I never gave her that chance. Just like when we were growing up, you have to falter in order to learn. You have to falter to change. That's how we all learn. I wasn't letting her falter because I was scared. But then again, I still had a husband. I still had another child that were not getting the attention that they deserved. And I was becoming sick myself. Well, I was sick. And he was right. And I thought, what kind of a mother am I being? I'm not teaching her anything but to rely on somebody else. And that's what I tell families. That is really what I tell families. That there's a fine line between enabling and helping. Sure, there are times where, like in life, their ride didn't show up from work and they might need a lift. Okay. But for the most part, let them figure some of this stuff out on their own. It's their responsibility, not yours.
So would you say that would be your turning point when you finally said, I'm done? And did she get sober then?
That was my turning point, absolutely. Did she get sober then? No. She did go into treatment, yes. She faltered after, but I kept firm with my boundaries. I was learning my healthy boundaries. And we had a very, very sick codependent relationship. And I mean, we would talk and text probably 76 times a day. That's how sick it was. Even during her active addiction, every little thing, she reached out to me, whether for help, venting, anything. And I remember seeing a therapist, actually. She asked me how many times we spoke, and I told her, and her eyes bugged out. She said, oh my God, no wonder. No wonder you feel this way. You drop everything to talk with her. What would happen if you didn't respond to her in 37 seconds? What is the worst thing that could happen? So she waits 10 minutes or an hour. Start talking twice a day and have her gather all those things that she needs to talk with you about at that moment. Because your life is in crisis mode 24/7. And she was right. I had to pull away. I had to create healthy boundaries that was comfortable for me. Your boundaries are different than my boundaries. It's baby steps. Did she cry and stomp her feet and, oh my God, you don't care about me? And yes, but I knew that that was her disease trying to manipulate me to go back into my old ways. She knew I loved her. She knows that, and I know she loves me. If she would say, I hate you, and et cetera, you got to let it go. It's just that disease talking. They don't really mean it. Their disease is screaming, I hate you because you're not feeding me now. That's what's happening, and we need to fight against the disease.
So at what point did you decide to start the blog?
So it was just over a year ago that I had started it, and it was really for some self-healing. When I first started talking somewhat publicly, when I mean publicly, I mean to family and friends publicly. I didn't really tell anyone that was going on with my daughter for years. And they were in awe of, my God, all of this happened and nobody knew. How is this possible? And then, the comments, you got to write a book and blah, blah, blah. And I thought, well, I'm not sure even how to do that, but I would like some self-healing. And so I started Googling how to build a website. I've never written before. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Googled how to build a website. I'm watching YouTube videos from 12-year-old kids in China that know way more than we do. and stumbled through this little nugget of love of creation and wrote a couple of things. And I didn't want it to be these long narrative pieces. I know for me personally, if I'm scrolling on social media, I probably have about 30 seconds to read something until my phone rings or I have to go to that meeting, or really my attention span, that too. And I just wanted little memories that would come to mind. And so that's what I did. It was really just for some self-healing. I remember throwing it on Facebook and thinking to myself, oh, dear God, here we go. I was kind of praying that even 20 of my family and friends would read it, but then petrified if they would read it as well. If that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, because you put it out there. You went public.
I went public. But again, I just for some self-healing, just to kind of write some memories down. What happened from there, I can't even comprehend still. It just kept getting more and more viewers as days went on. And then I was getting thousands of views per day. And I was like, what is going on? I don't understand. And I actually called someone that blogged and I said, tell me, look at these numbers. I've never done this before. Is this normal? Her first reaction was, that can't be right, Katie. You need to call your host, your web host. That can't be right. Something's wrong there. And then my whole server went down. I thought, oh God, what did I screw up? I don't know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did. I called and they took a look and they said, wow, your server went down because you exceeded the bandwidth of allowed views on your site at one time. You need to upgrade to the professional level. This is crazy. Are you kidding me? The max views that I had in one day, which I think probably would have been larger because there was 2 full days that my site was down because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. In one day, there was 357,000 visitors on my blog. That was in week 2. It didn't even make sense to me. But that showed me that there are millions of moms just like me. Same story, basically, that they don't want to talk about it, but they feel connected when they read this. And then I found out that I could find exactly where it was being read at. Again, these are things I had no idea. What's this map mean? What do these colors mean? And it was viewed and read in 146 countries within 30 days. I mean, It practically went to the world. I think, I don't even know how many countries there are in the world, but I think 150 something maybe. But I mean, countries where I didn't know they had internet, how is this happening? This goes to show that this is a worldwide issue, and everywhere people are affected, and everywhere people need that support. They need that connection of moms like me, moms that are sitting in their bedrooms right now under their covers, crying their eyes out because they don't know what the hell to do. And it's paralyzing. That fear is paralyzing. And I understand it. And that's why I want to talk with these moms. My heart feels what they're feeling. I get it. But I also have learned so much along the way that I want to help navigate with them on through their feelings, on helping them guide their children to quality vetted treatment facilities, guide them through the insurance process if they're unsure of what is an out-of-network it's so overwhelming, everything. And when you're in the midst of it, you can't think of anything but your child dying. That's it. That's really why I got into this, because I couldn't take what was happening. There was no family support whatsoever. There was absolutely no resources. If someone has an overdose and they go into a hospital, they're just discharged and that's it. There's no protocol put in place at all. I remember when my daughter had overdosed, and one of the times I didn't get a call until 7 hours later. And when I walked in, she was on a gurney in a hallway with absolutely zero medical attention being given to her. And I remember hearing one of the nurses say, oh, the junkie's mom got here. And I thought, my God, this is who we're supposed to come to for help? This is the treatment that people are getting for a disease? This is the only disease that is treated this way. The only one. It infuriates me. But that's a whole other topic.
Our industry, the addiction industry, is so convoluted, and we're supposed to work for free, and we're supposed to help everybody, and we're not supposed to take a paycheck, and we're supposed to cure the addict and put them back into the family. We have an unrealistic expectation of what's supposed to happen. I went toe-to-toe with a mom who said, how dare I charge for my services? And I said, what do you mean? And I checked out her Facebook profile, and she was a cancer nurse. And I said, well, cancer's a disease. And she said, yes. And I said, well, addiction's a disease. And she said, yes. And I said, so how is it that you get a paycheck and I don't? And how is it that it's such a dirty, and it's so dirty, and it's tough because we're trying to break the stigma and get everything out in the open, and we're pushing against all these people that think, hide it, keep it quiet, and at the same time work for free and 100 hours a week. So it's really tough. So
it is.
Now you do coaching for the families privately, but you also teach family coaching for coaches who want to learn. So tell me about that.
I do. I love family coaching classes, and it's via webinar, and you can dial in from anywhere you want. I really recommend truly every single treatment facility, again, have someone on staff who is a nationally certified family recovery coach, addictions coach, because this is what you're going to need. The families have got to have this support. We have to come to these grassroots efforts, and truly this is kind of where coaching came from, was a little bit of a grassroots effort, right? We have peer recovery coaches that will be in hospitals. There's grant funding for them. Why isn't there anything for the family? Zero. We're told to go to some support meetings. This is a dire need. And when I am able to teach others on how to become a family coach, and then they in turn coach families, whether they do it for free or whether they charge for it, I don't really care. You're helping people no matter what. That's the point, to help people. It's such a huge problem that without focus being on the family side, families can become so toxic. Johnny can go to treatment and he comes home, but mom and dad haven't been coached and they haven't changed their own ways. I know I was totally guilty. I remember one time my daughter came home from treatment and I wrote up this long laundry list of all of the expectations that I had and rules and regulations. I pretty much made it impossible for her to actually succeed. It was ridiculous. And I learned so much. It's pulling back. And this is what family coaching is about. It's about creating change, some self-healing, moving forward, not backwards. Let's go forward with healing and passion and change.
Awesome. So how would our listeners find you to either hire you as a family coach or to help with placement with their loved one, or even take your class?
They can, if they would like to reach me personally, they can visit my website at amothersaddictionjourney.com. There is all of my contact information. I respond to everything personally myself. Sometimes it may take a day or two. It just depends on how many emails I get, but please know I will get back with you. And then also for family coaching and interventions, sober transport, all of my services are on there. If you would like to take a family coaching class to become a family coach, go to the addictionsacademy.com. The list of classes are right on there, and you can just click and sign up right online.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on. And we're going to put your link to your website up on with the podcast. So anybody that wants to reach you can go to mothersaddictionjourney.com and click on that, and we'll be taken right to you for whatever services they need.
Great. Thanks so much, Kelly.
You've been listening to Unpause Your Life with Dr. Callie Estes and our guest, Katie Donovan Brennan. Give us a listen every week here at Unpause Your Life. Hey everyone, thanks again for listening. I really hope you enjoyed the show today. Head on over to iTunes and Apple Podcasts and leave a comment or review of what you think. Or contact us at 1-800-706-0318. If you want to be on our show, feel free to email or call. And if you have a topic, feel free to email or call as well.
Thanks for listening to Unpause Your Life. For show notes and more, head on over to unpauseyourlife.com.
Big shout out to recoveryinnovators.com for help producing this show. Thank you, guys.
I took a walk down the long road where they said that I shouldn't go. On my way found a reason to wake up another day. But they needed to show you all the things that you won't do. Find faith or religion, but nothing to show for it. No need to escape in love with my pain. I may be weak, but I'm alive, still alive, and I won't be bound by your mistake. No, I won't be your enemy, trapped at the gate. Bring me to life, put me to death. Just give me something that's just not so hard to believe. To believe. To believe. I took a walk down the dark road where they said that I shouldn't go. I knew the dangers of flying. Now I'm so far from solid ground, but they